All right, let's talk about something I think we've all felt. That sinking feeling when the software that's supposed to help you feels like it's actually working against you. Today, we're going to dive into a totally different way of thinking about our tools, one that tries to turn them from a clunky obstacle into a genuinely valuable teammate.
So let's just start with that universal frustration, right? Why is it that so many tools are sold to us as easy, but in reality they feel incredibly difficult to use? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're supposed to be moving faster, but instead you're just stuck. You're staring at the screen, totally lost, wondering what you're even supposed to do next.
And that really gets to the core idea of what we're talking about today. At the end of the day, technology should be the wind at our back. Our tools should help us build momentum, to move forward, not be the thing that holds us back with a confusing mess of buttons and menus.
Okay, so first, let's really dig into the number one problem: tools that just flat out waste our time. It's an issue of complexity, and believe me, it has a hidden cost that's so much bigger than just the price of the software.
Just picture this for a second. You've got a huge campaign you need to get out the door. A grant proposal is due, like tomorrow. The pressure is on. The last thing you have is a few hours to spare just trying to figure out how a tool is supposed to work.
And this is where things just fall apart, right? On one side, you've got most software, which just assumes you've got all day to watch tutorials and read manuals. But on the other side, well, that's the dream. A tool that works with you, for you, from the very first click. No training needed.
So if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, it all starts with this first core principle: respecting the user's mission. And that means we have to build for immediate utility.
It really boils down to this incredibly direct, no-nonsense idea. We don't have time for fluff. If it's not useful, we ignore it. It's a demand for actual, tangible results, not just a bunch of flashy features that don't really help.
And this, right here, is a really big deal. It's a huge shift in how we should think. For years, the goal was always easy to use, which sounds nice, but it's vague, and it rarely pans out. The new goal, the better goal, is immediate utility. The only question that should matter is, does this thing help me get something done right now?
So how immediate is immediate? Well, the benchmark here is pretty bold. Just 60 seconds. Seriously, think about that. If a piece of software can't help you make real progress in the first minute you use it, it just wasn't designed for the real world.
So how do you actually get to that 60-second utility? Well, it takes a totally different way of designing things. And that brings us to our second principle. Software needs to be modular, not monolithic. It's all about doing one thing and doing it really, really well.
We've all been there, right? Stuck with one of those giant, bloated, do-it-all platforms. They promise you the world, that they'll be the one and only solution for everything you need. But the massive problem with that whole approach is
that it doesn't really fit anyone. A one-size-fits-all solution ends up being a one-size-fits-none reality. Instead of feeling like it was made for you, you just get this clunky, overwhelming system that's a bad fit for basically everybody.
But when you go modular, the benefits are just obvious. You break things down into smaller, focused tools. You only use what you need, so there's no bloat. Each piece works instantly, so onboarding is way faster. And it lets you focus on your actual job, not on wrestling with the tech. Best of all, no lock-in.
And the philosophy behind it is beautifully simple. Step 1, you build a tool that does one single thing perfectly. And then step 2, you connect all those little tools together behind the scenes, so they just work seamlessly, without you even having to think about it. Okay, so we've got useful tools, they're modular, but how do you actually learn to use them without getting bogged down? That takes us to our third and final principle: learning while you're doing. It's about putting the training right inside the workflow at the exact moment you need.
To really get why this is so critical, just think about how we usually learn new software. You know, those long webinars, the boring PDF manuals. It's a lot like
trying to learn how to swim by reading a book. I mean, you can memorize all the theory, you can know all the strokes, but none of it matters until you're actually in the water. Training that happens away from the real work is just as useless.
So what does this just-in-time learning actually feel like? Well, instead of a manual, you get smart little prompts that guide you. You get explanations that pop up right where you're working. They help you get feels less like a sterile FAQ page and more like you're just turning to a friendly teammate and asking for a quick tip.
So, let's pull all of this together now. When you combine that immediate utility with modular design and learning that happens in the moment,
You don't just get a better tool, you get something else entirely. You get a teammate.
And the ultimate goal here, the whole point of all of this, is to create something called forward motion. That's that feeling when the tool just fades into the background. It gets out of your way and just lets you do what you came to do, with zero friction and with total respect for your time and your mission.
And that's really what it comes down to. That's the difference between a system and a teammate. A system is this passive thing you have to fight with, something you operate. But a teammate is an active partner that's right there with you, helping you win.
So, we want to leave you with this one question to chew on. What if our tools were actually designed to just get out of our way? Imagine what we could all get done if our technology finally let us focus on the work that truly matters.